हाँ सर, हेलो। नमस्ते।
हाँ सर नमस्कार।
हाँ सर, बताइए।
कल 3:30 बजे तक प्रोग्राम कर लो।
एक्सपर्ट लेक्चर सीरीज स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी का जो पिछला हुआ था ना।
तो सर नहीं आ रहा है, विश नहीं आ रहा है।
अच्छा, नहीं कर पाएंगे। चलो, मैं सोच रहा था सब बोल देता हूँ।
ठीक है सर।
ठीक ठीक ठीक। वो कांड करेगा, मैं फंसूंगा, सब मुझे फोन पे बोलते हैं।
आ गया जी। देखो नाम कितना अच्छा है ना, चिन्मय जय। मेरा क्यों नहीं सेपरेट आ रहा
क्या होगा?
है? ये
आएगा पीछे आता है। किसी ने आपको खोला है तो आपका आया ही होगा।
नजर गुनीत आ रही है, वहां पे लिखा है संजीव। बड़ा अच्छा किया इसने आज। सिर पे इसने स्कार्फ बांधा हुआ
किसने?
मुनीत।
क्यों?
किसी ने कहा होगा यार,
क्या? वो कोई मुसलमानों की संस्था है?
सरदारनियां भी कहती हैं ना,
तो वो सरदारों की भी नहीं है, राजस्थानी ये किया, किसी और वजह से किया होगा, किसी और वजह से किया होगा।
तो जिसने मेरे लिए बोला था ना, नीतू, बड़ा बुक बच्चा।
Neetu ma'am, Gunit ma'am have joined.
Let me check, sir. Just a second.
Yeah, just check.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you were here. Okay, so you were in that name. Okay, fine. DC Sharma sir, I just spoke to him. He is joining. And I think
Okay, sir.
Anuradha ma'am already joined, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ma'am is
Okay,
here.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Namaskar, madam.
Namaskar,
Good to see
sir.
you.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you for
Very
joining us.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity.
We'll just start in few minutes.
Sure, sure.
ideals, etc., etc. Maybe I'm just. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Sharma sir, good afternoon. Sir, you have to unmute. So still sound is not coming, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you are audible. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Gunit ma'am, we are just at 3:30. You may take permission of DC Sharma sir and start. Yeah.
Please.
Okay, sir. So with your permission, shall we start, sir?
Sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Please start. Yes, ma'am. Start.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Dr. Gunit Kaur, on behalf of Department of Sports Psychology and School of Sports Sciences, Central University of Rajasthan, would like to welcome you all the dignitaries, seniors, colleagues, and all the participants joining us from across the country to this day 2 of the 4 days online expert lecture series on career prospects in sports psychology. It has indeed been an overwhelming response with people joining in still, and we've had a great inaugural session with Professor Jitendra Mohan on 20th July, which saw a participation as well as a YouTube webcast, which is even today a YouTube webcast live for the program. So in order to take this session, this day 2 forward, I would like to invite Dr. Subhashish Bhadra, Associate Professor and Head Department of Sports Psychology, convener of this expert lecture series, to address the gathering.
Thank you, ma'am. And it's really a great honor and privilege to be here with this August gathering. So good afternoon, one and all. Respected Dean Academics, Professor D.C. Sharma, distinguished speaker of the day, Dr. Anuradha Shalanki from Human Performance Lab, Sports Authority of India, New Delhi, all the deans, heads of the department, all the participants, academicians, athletes, researchers, officers from Psi, and all other present here. I welcome you all on behalf of the Departments of Sports Psychology, School of Sports Sciences, Central University of Rajasthan. This is to say that we are really in a situation when we are cheering our participants in Tokyo Olympic, and we at School of Sports Science and we as Department of Sports Psychology dedicated our first lecture to them, and similarly the second lecture also, and the expert lecture we convey our good wishes to our team India in Tokyo Olympic. The university successfully completed a journey of 11 years starting in the year 2009 and emerged as one of the most flourishing higher educational institute in Rajasthan, as well as a front runner among the central universities which are established after 2009 through the Act of Parliament. In the last 11 years, from an humble beginning, now the Central University of Rajasthan thrives with 32 different academic departments, 12 schools, and School of Sports Science is the new addition in this university in 2018. So the university offers a wider array of PhD program, PG program, undergraduate and integrated program in different schools and departments. And it has wide green campus where there are a number of opportunities for athletes to grow, and there are a lot of facilities of sports where the students can come, enjoy, and already number of students are here who have taken the sporting spirit, and this new school is an addition in that. So as a whole, the university works on holistic development, where we also have a department of yoga in this university to promote the well-being. So to say that the School of Sports Science established in 2018 with three distinguished departments: Department of Sports Biosciences, Department of Sports Biomechanics, and Department of Sports Psychology. And the school is sponsored by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports Government of India. So the Department of Sports Psychology under the School of Sports Sciences has started its academic session in 2020 onwards, and the new admission will be initiated very soon. And all the three departments of Schools of Sports Sciences have a lot of success stories over this last 2 years, where our passed out students have joined in different organizations, including Psy. So as a whole, we are trying to achieve a new heights and trying to achieve a milestone in the history and the journey of the sports as a whole in India, and for this university in particular. So the sports psychology is not just limited to the sports. It has a wider array that includes the different kind of practice opportunities in the area of promoting well-being, resiliency, enhancing life skills, and as a whole, it works on preventing illness, maintaining growth, and ultimately ensuring the well-being for the people. So the sports psychologist can work as school counselor, as an independent therapist, and ensure the new array in their career. So in that way, the department is trying to grow and bring the glory. The university has all these kind of facilities, and School of Sports Sciences also created number of labs and practical experiences opportunities for our students. And now we are also started offering the PhD courses in our School of Sports Sciences, including Department of Sports Psychology. So these 4 days expert lectures are organized where the first lecture was delivered by Professor Jitendra Mohan, and the program was graced by our Vice Chancellor Sir, on 23rd of July. Professor Neeraj Gupta was there in that program. As we have a very large number of participants, we also started the webcasting through YouTube, and we are trying that this program can ultimately cheer up all our Team Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which is delayed 1 year because of COVID. But in the last lecture, the Professor Jitendra Mohan very rightly said, like getting an Olympic medal is like winning a Nobel Prize in sports. So we hope to have some Nobel to come back, and we cheer them up, and we dedicate our expert lecture webinar for our participants in Olympic. So I welcome you all again to have an active engagement in the deliberation and discussion in our today's lecture and in subsequent 2 lectures organized by Department of Sports Sciences, Department of Sports Psychology. So thank you all for joining. I welcome you all again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very succinct and a very wonderful of how the first inaugural session and what we're expecting from the days to come. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to invite our registrar, Professor D.C. Sharma, Dean Academics and Professor of Mathematics, for his introductory remarks.
Good afternoon to everyone. To begin with, I congratulate all the participants to be the part of this very vibrant departmental program, and the program which is being organized by the youngest department of our university. They are young in their work, but they are very mature in their fields. So I must congratulate them first, and I also thank them to invite me for talking to you all. Sports psychology, sports and psychology. Normally, when we were talking about the sports earlier, we were always talking about the physical fitness of a person. And a person who is physically fit can go for the sports and can perform there. After a lot of trainings and other things, are still wanting for a medal. When it was thought of that what is the problem when we are very, very physically fit, having all the energies and all the trainings, but still unable to get medals. So these people have given the answer for this. This psychologically, how much you are strong, body and mental level, both are synchronized or not. If you are mentally prepared for the sports, then your training will be utilized. What is happening was, we have been doing our best, but psychologically, whenever we are looking at our opposition or the competition which we are having in the sports, we were depressed just because the earlier or the participants who are there with us are the winners or the medalists, and we are nowhere. So this psychology gives them the lower hand in that side. So this sports psychology, I feel, will definitely give the answer for it. And these people are the one who have gone through research, found that to get the mental health, proper well-being of these athletes, it is required to synchronize their mental abilities with the physical abilities. Once it is being synchronized, then you can enhance your performances wherever. And if you say sports psychology, I would say that it is not only in the part of sports, even in our administration. If you are psychologically very strong, you can take good decisions. And you can, if suppose your number of files are piling up, now I am holding the charge of the registrar, I found lot of files in my office. And when I entered to the office, I found that, oh God, how to do these files, how to overcome this all. If I get depressed like this, then definitely I will not be able to perform my duties. So better first you equip yourself that yes, I can do, I have the abilities, capabilities of doing this. This mental state should be prepared first. So to my understanding, which I understand a little bit about this, is that it is definitely giving you the impetus of your mind abilities, which can give you the total development or total input in the particular field of sports. Since we are talking about the sports, athletics, now as Professor Bhadra has given reference of the Olympics, we definitely pray that we should come out with some Nobels, as you have compared Nobel Prize with the gold medalists. So I wish that we should get as much as possible, and we are chairing it, and we have organized the program, and I congratulate the department for organizing this program in such a time so as to give boost to each and every one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that was indeed a very motivating remarks and very motivating lecture by you that has motivated us as a department as well as those who have listened in the current scenario. Thank you so much, sir. I would now take this opportunity to introduce our distinguished expert speaker, Dr. Anuradha Solanki. It is indeed an honor and privilege to introduce ma'am. Dr. Anuradha Solanki is currently employed with Sports Authority of India as sports psychologist. Since July, she has been employed there from 1993. Her job profile has included research, providing psychological support to Indian national teams, counseling, teaching of diploma and refresher courses, mental training, psychological testing and assessment. She is the Secretary General of SPAI, Sports Psychology Association of India. She has attained her MPhil on the topic Psychological Profile of Sportsperson and taught also in her MPhil from Department of Psychology, Bangalore University, Bangalore. And she has earned her PhD degree again from Department of Psychology, Bangalore, in the area of or on the topic of psychological prerequisites for creative non-sports and non-creative sports excellence in children. She has had a wide work experience. She was a lecturer at Christ College, Bangalore, and then she became a lecturer at APS Arts and Science College, Bangalore. She has been a guest faculty at Amity University where she taught sports psychology and followed by guest faculty at Jamia Hamdard where again she was teaching sports psychology to master's students and guided master's students. Being a trained professional, she has had training under Russian sports psychologists for 1 year. And she has attended sports science courses at University of Birmingham and has attended 2-week training in Mind Room HRV Biofeedback training for peak performance and Olympic Mind Room mental performance coaching program by Dr. Pierre Bucom, Canada, 2019. She has held several administrative duties from being a paper setter for sports psychology, administrative work related to sports sciences, and has been the board of study member for LNIPE Gwalior and the examiner and paper setter for multiple colleges. She has attended 15 conferences at national and international universities, presented research papers at national level conferences and in international conferences. She's attended 40 workshops on various aspects of psychology and also conducted workshops for coaches, students and administrators and delivered lectures on sports psychology. She has had 50 research publications and 5 research abstracts in international conference proceedings. She's the member of some of the prestigious bodies, like being the life member of Sports Psychology Association of India and being a life member of Indian Association of Sports Medicine and International Society of Sports Psychology. Ma'am, it is indeed an honor to have such a dedicated personality amongst us, and we eagerly look forward to your address. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was indeed, you took too much of time for introducing me. It's very, my recognition or my contribution is very limited when I see people like Professor Mohan, who has been the pillar of sports psychology. And he has been a wonderful mentor for every one of us who is here, who is in sports psychology, from the psychology angle, that is the Department of Psychology. He's been the person who has held all of us together and tried to push us towards developing sports psychology to today's level. So, I have benefited a lot from being in association with seniors, my colleagues, my students, my juniors. It's been a wonderful experience all through. So I have enjoyed each and every moment of my association with sports psychology. And I should thank the Central University of Rajasthan, the worthy Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the head of the department, and all the staff and the colleagues of yours who has taken this, pains of doing this particular webinar, because this is a time when, during COVID, this has been the only way of keeping in touch with people. Even wanting to be physically present with one another has not been possible. So we have been facing a lot of challenge for the past 1.5 years. And the last 1 year has been really very tough on all of us. And especially when we are talking about sports persons, it has taken a toll on them. Like Sir was saying, the mental health component, we had to face a lot of issues when it came to, the mental health components. And we were doing, I don't know how many counseling sessions over video counseling sessions and over the phone, over WhatsApp, and, it was flooded. It was not like, physically we are not in the department, but then, being available to the athletes 24/7 was the requirement. And we have faced a lot of, challenging situations during COVID. But then the very fact that our team has reached Tokyo is very heartening. Like Sir also said, it is very rightly said that whatever preparation they have given, I think we should be very happy with the results, not expecting too high results, but then whatever we get, I think our athletes deserve the best praise for the efforts and for being resilient. The very right word Sir used, being resilient and reaching there to represent the country and get laurels for the country. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Central University, for hosting me and giving me this opportunity to share a few of my thoughts and the developments that have been happening in the field, because I have been associated with Sports Authority of India, and we have been developing, world-class laboratory for sports psychology. So I thought when Guneet asked me, I said, this is something which I can highlight upon, because the theoretical component or what we generally do with athletes is all known, and most of us through the books, and these days there is a lot of information available on the website. But then what practically we are doing and how we are helping athletes, I just thought I would present to all the people who are attending today. And then whatever are the queries from my end, whatever substantially I can answer them, I will take it. So I'll just start my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am, it is starting. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so just briefly, I mean, this is not something very, rocket science or what I'm just trying to talk about, but basically from my experience and whatever I have been doing in the Department of Sports Psychology, Human Performance Lab, I would just want to share with you. So all of us know sports psychologists, we are conducting research, we teach, students, we teach athletes, we have consultations with the coaches as well as the athlete. That is the basic, job requirement of a sports psychologist. So what we, in the department, whenever we are doing our work, it first starts with the assessment of the athlete. So we make an assessment of the athlete based on the specific sport wherever he is performing, because all the sports do not require the same kind of abilities, especially psychologically. Also, if we talk, there are certain parameters which need to be assessed, maybe as a, earmark, but then otherwise there are certain specific characteristics which we need to assess. So we carry out those assessments, and then based, as I told you, the requirement of the sport plays an important role, and we have to be very transparent with the athlete why we are doing it, because many a times the athletes have an idea, अरे डिपार्टमेंट जाओ तो वहां पर टेस्ट कर लेते हैं, इसके बाद में हमें कुछ पता नहीं चलता है. So that is not our aim. When we are conducting an assessment with the athlete, we want him to be aware why he is being assessed and what are the findings. That is very important because he needs to work on improving them. Okay. So we also develop programs where we can work on the areas where he needs to improve in consultation with the coach as well, because he is the one who is going to implement those programs on the field, off the field, in consultation with the psychologist as well as the athlete. Okay. And then we have, in this particular program, we also have psychological skills. Why we call it as a skill is that it can be learned. Psychology is not something which is a magical science or it's something magic. Many people have this feeling. Now, of course, this forum has many psychologists, but otherwise, the moment you say you're a psychologist, oh, you can read my mind, I should be careful with you. These are, the words which generally the population thinks that a psychologist can read the mind and he can do anything which is, the innermost of your feelings can be known to him. That's not the thing. But if you have to have a mastery over your mental components, you can learn them, like how to, focus on something. It is not something which you cannot learn. So whatever things are learned, like for example, the sports itself, you wouldn't have learned the particular sports and come. You are slowly and gradually introduced to the skills of the game, the techniques of the game, the tactics of the game. All of these are learned. So it is a skill. So also psychology is a skill which can be learned. So we program the psychological skills training as per the need of the athlete and the particular competition for which the athlete is preparing. And once we develop this program, we also have to evaluate. All of you understand the importance of feedback. Feedback is very essential at every step of improvement. Whatever happens, whether it is going in the good, positive direction or there is something which there is no improvement, we need to work on, other strategies. It has to be assessed and the effectiveness has to be conveyed to the coach as well as the athlete, because they are the ones who are going to work on it further for improvement, right? Basic stages of psychological support follows, as I told you. First is the psychodiagnosis. We need to understand what are the various parameters and the characteristics, variables which are essential in that particular sport. So we use, psychomotor evaluation. We have questionnaires. We have unstructured interviews. We have, one-to-one sessions. So many ways of collecting information. So once we have the information and we draw a profile and discuss with the coach, and based on that, we have a mental training sessions, which will have a relaxation. It could have a relaxation session. As I told you, if he is having distractions as a major issue for his performance, enhancement, to teach him concentration skills, imagery, where we teach him visualization of his actual performance, how best he can bring in the changes. And then feedback is based on self-rating, as well as sometimes we also make use of the biofeedback equipment to give him an understanding of how he performs, at what stage of his game he is getting into stress or where is he relaxed. So all of these information is passed on to the athlete for him to understand himself better. So in psychomotor evaluation, basically what we assess are the reaction time, which is mostly required for across games. Then we have anticipation time, which is, moving object reaction. When an object is in movement, how best is he able to react to that, actually recognize and then react. Then depth perception, because three-dimensional perception is very important in sports, because at a distance, whatever is happening, how best he is able to recognize that and accordingly make his moves. Then eye-hand coordination, what the eye sees and what the hand reacts, or the body, other parts of the body have to be in tandem with each other. Peripheral vision, looking straight ahead, how much can you see from your periphery of your vision, which is very important in most of the dynamic games that we generally see, like hockey, football. All of these require a very good peripheral vision. Hand steadiness in games like archery and shooting, we require a high amount of neuromuscular coordination. So Flicker fusion gives us an understanding of the effect of fatigue, how much of fatigue is having an influence on your performance. So these are some of the basic evaluations. There are many more which have come up now. And as I told you, specific to the sport, we make these, tests. When we come to the mental training component, as I told you, relaxation is one thing. There are many types of relaxations. All of you know, we teach them all different types of relaxations. Visualization, which is imagery, and mental rehearsal is rehearsing your physical practice in a relaxed condition and trying to fix the problem areas, where if you have certain problem areas, how to recognize them and fix them and have a solution, so that in critical moments you have a solution ready and you do not have those kind of jittery feeling that you are not prepared or you don't know what to do at that particular time. Focusing again is concentration, attention strategies are taught, and positive affirmations. Positive affirmations play a very important role. Like sir said, the moment you see files, if you say, oh my God, am I going to be able to clear this? That is negative. The moment he says, okay, let me see if I'm able to clear even 20 files today, that is fine. So that is a positive affirmation, which gives him a direction to channelize his energy throughout the day, how much he has to do, where he has to focus. So that is very important for a sportsman. As
the slides are not moving actually.
Oh,
okay. Yes, ma'am. If you're presenting, you can just click on the slide. Yeah, ma'am.
I think this way. Is it visible now? Is it moving?
Yes, ma'am. It is moving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. So the areas that we work practically in our laboratory, which we call it as the Human Performance Lab, because we are focusing on the performance of our athlete. So the first and foremost and the most important component which has a bearing on performance is cognitive training. Cognition, all of us know, it is to recognize the environment and the stimuli which are present in the environment, and to judge and make a mental process. Okay, so how you perceive this, strategies that you use, the acquisition, how you process information. So all of these, the basis of this is cognition. Okay, so the thinking, knowing, all of these components for an athlete needs to be trained. He has to be trained if he has to make split-second judgments when he is on the field. Okay, so the ability to perform under pressure, remain aware, because the moment you are under pressure, your thought processes might get disturbed. You may not be able to focus. You may suddenly go blank. Okay, so being under pressure, if you remain aware and you're in control of the situation and you're able to process the information that is happening around you, because it is very dynamic, it's happening in a very fast manner. So if you're able to do that, then the athlete is in a better position to make decisions, and he is able to perform consistently at his best, because consistency is very important, and not to give away under pressure. It is very important for a champion athlete, because if he has to perform under pressure, he has to show a lot of stability, the way he is prepared and the way he understands information and processes information. So in our lab, we have a Neurotracker. So a Neurotracker is an equipment which is a 3D, it provides a 3D environment where it is a very interactive environment where there are certain targets which are, bouncing among themselves, and you have to track. Out of the 8 targets, 4 are identified. So you have to track the 4 of them. And once it stops moving and mixing in a 3D environment, you have to say which one of the 4 balls were the ones which were identified earlier. Like, for example, it is like this. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are identified, and the number goes away. So they get mixed, and they are moving in this particular environment, and then they stop. So you have to identify 1, 2, 3, 4, which one of them were they among this. and then the numbers appear and you have to say them. The once you are able to identify the balls in the right order, the speed increases, because the system wants you to become more and more efficient in being able to make a change into your cognitive system, because the dynamism inside the game when you're playing is very, very fast. So if you're able to match up with that, because the system gives you a challenge, so if you're able to meet the challenge, you're able to come across and overcome that particular threshold. It sets a threshold and you can keep achieving. So higher the threshold value, the better is your cognition, which is improving. So most athletes who come to our labs undergo this. Actually, initial session is just for about 20 minutes, and such 20-minute sessions we have every day. So we have everyday sessions for them. This is one particular session that was done for an athlete who was a tennis player. So the first session, his threshold was 3.5, and then slowly it came down. And this third session it went up, and again there has been an improvement. It is just a representative graph that I'm showing you, the output. So it sets a threshold. So next time we start only at 3.82, the first session, based on the readings of his first session, we start with 3.82, and then he goes on improving. There have been, we have done it extensively with our shooters and archers also, and we have done it with our football players. So everybody has felt that they were able to restrict the amount of distractions when they were playing on the field. They were able to distribute their attention better among the various targets which were present on the field. So this is one way of improving cognition, because see, when we use a questionnaire, what happens is that there are certain questions which are asked. We may not be able to quantify that on-field, performance. So this is one way of, because we found that these equipments were being used by Olympic-level athletes in most of the Olympic institutes world over, whether it is, in the US or in the Europe or in UK. Most of these Olympic institutes have these equipments with them. So that is when we thought even our Indian athletes should benefit, and the ministry was very convinced that we should have laboratories equipped with such equipment, so that our athletes, whether it is national athletes or even our developmental athletes, everybody has to be exposed to this kind of a training, right? So what a Neurotracker training, what we have found has yielded results when it comes to on-field performance. It helps us process visual information more quickly, so that an individual reacts faster when he is playing on the field. So it increases the peripheral awareness. We saw that peripheral awareness is very important in most of these dynamic games. So it helps an athlete anticipate avoidable collisions. If we are talking about, I'm sorry, I think again it went to, okay. Okay, then simultaneously, when we are able to track multiple targets, we are able to recognize, the athlete will be able to recognize the threats and opportunities faster. It will be more accurate. When you are able to read the body movements more effectively, that helps you stay one step ahead of the opponent. And when you can maintain focus for a longer period of time, it can boost your awareness during crucial situations in the game situation when you're actually playing in a competition. It increases resistance to fatigue. We all understand how quickly mind can fatigue, and if mind fatigues, the body also fatigues. So it can reduce the fatigue and help in maintaining focus till the end of the game. It can build up that kind of a sustained attention throughout the length of the particular game. So it can improve an individual's situational awareness by way that the individual athlete gets an edge on the competition. He is able to control many things which otherwise would have felt that they are uncontrollable. I was telling you about the psychomotor evaluation that are being generally carried out for athletes. For this, we have a system which is called as the Vnr Test System. It is a computerized set of, it is a software-based testing equipment. So it can assess a lot of tests, and it has a battery of tests. Like I told you, it has reaction time, it has anticipation time, it has stress tolerance, it has eye-hand coordination, it has whole body coordination. So depending upon the requirement of the game, the basic psychomotor qualities required, we use the Vnr Test System. The equipment looks exactly like this. This is a software based, it is loaded onto the desktop. It has a joystick kind of a thing. It has, many things which, it has a joystick, it has multiple, keys. It is a keyboard actually. And this is for the peripheral vision. The board that you can see on the side, this is for the peripheral vision. And these are the foot pads. It can measure, all of these are connected. The eye, hand, foot, all of these, whatever measurements are done is all connected, and we get a output on the particular system. It is all stored. So we can have a system which has all of the testing which is done on the athlete from day one to till whenever we want him to be coming periodically. We can retrieve this information and have a comparative assessment of his. We generally do it once in 6 months. We don't do these, evaluations regular basis. Then, this is just an example of how the output comes, and the raw score is given. It is converted into percentile score and the T-score. Actually, we are in the process of developing our own norms. These are the norms which are supplied to us with the equipment. It is basically a European sample on which we have the norms, but we are developing because we have this system for almost 5 to 6 years now. So we have our own database, and we are trying to develop our norms. But in the meanwhile, we are relying on this for a rough, just to get an idea of where the athlete stands. So we generate reports like this, and then we discuss with the coach, the graphical representations, just to give them an idea of where they stand and what are their readings and what exactly it means to them. Okay, so in addition to this, when we come back to the training component, we have a sports vision training, because vision is undoubtedly the most important component where an athlete has to perform. So visual information, we all understand, dominates above any other sensory input information that we receive. So most of the information that an athlete receives is through his vision, what he sees, what he understands, what he interprets. Okay, so the visual system is the most important. So what we generally do is, if this is the software, it is processing the information. Our eye is processing the information, and it is sending signals to the brain. And then what exactly we have to do on the field is told by the brain. The interpretation, the input that is received, and your basic, exposure that has been there, whatever your experiences are there. Okay, so both the hardware as well as the software in combination are very important for the visual information that is received and how it is processed and how it helps an athlete perform when he is doing it on the field. So for this, we have a sports vision trainer. So sports vision trainer it is actually developed by an optometrist himself. So that is why this equipment gives us very good kind of information. It has a software which is very relevant for athletes, because he's worked with professional athletes, footballers. He has worked with professional WWE athletes, boxers. So this is from Australia. He has developed this, and it is actually consisting of, I'll just show you the next, it has 32 lights like this. I'm sorry. So 32 lights, it's arranged like this. It's a board. So it can be kept on the table, or it can be even put on the wall. So we can fix it on the wall. there is also a provision for adding one more board. So that makes it 64 lights. So you have a bigger, range of your variables or the lights which are, appearing. So what this particular equipment does is that as per the schedule, whatever is fed into the computer, we can choose, we can make our own schedules as well. So the lights appear randomly. So the athlete will have to be ready, and he has to be able to say which one of these lights will appear in what it could be a random order. So the moment he responds, it is something like a reaction time, so it records the smallest possible time in which he responds, and his response should also be the right one. If it is a wrong response, it records more of a time and it says that you have missed this particular target. Okay, so there are many different, modalities in which this particular test is done. It can be also used as a test as well as for, training an athlete on his eye-hand coordination, two-hand coordination. So these parameters of whatever, psychomotor evaluations we are doing, it can be trained on this particular equipment that we have. So proactive means that till you press, the lights will not go, and there is a recording of your timing which is going on. Reactive, it allows only a very little time. If you don't press within that particular time, it records as a miss and as an error. Okay, so reactive random means two lights will appear simultaneously. It could be red and green together. So you have to be ready. You have to press them. Only then the lights will go away. Proactive again is till you press, the lights will not go, the simultaneous light. Both of them you have to press together. Okay. So the other component here which has importance to most athletes is reactive go, no go. This is a decision-making component. Like you are told to respond to green light and not to red light. Go for green, no go for red. So that the athlete has to remember. The moment the lights, I start the, test, he has to remember this, the decision making. You have to decide which light has to be responded to, which should not be responded to. So any time lag which is there between your responding, not responding, and not responding to the wrong one, so all of these are recorded. So this particular equipment has proved very useful for our hockey players and boxers. We have used it for training as well as for assessing their two-hand coordination. So these are the equipments that we are mostly using. Like this is one, session what we have done with the athlete. Almost about 91 sessions are done continuously, over a period of 3 to 4 months, we have given this particular training. And you can see that the reaction time, the time she has taken has come down from about 1000 plus milliseconds. It has come down to roughly about 400 milliseconds. So training on any component can give us results if we are working on it and under expert guidance and with your feedback. You can benefit a lot from these kind of training modules that we have. Okay, and the other components which have come into the field, if you have been reading a lot of research, you have been following most of these professional football players, you would understand that eye tracking is one another electronic device which most of the athletes are using just to track your eye movements. This particular equipment is there in GNDU, Amritsar has it, and LNIP also has this particular equipment. So it is very easy for us to understand how much of relevant information are you attending to, how much of irrelevant information is you are getting distracted by that. So eye tracking, mostly is used in all of the dynamic games. LNIP has done extensive work on table tennis players, badminton players, and even GNDU has done a lot of good work using these equipments as far as training is concerned. So you can identify the link of where your eye is seeing, how much of variations are there, what is the information that is being processed, and how good is your visual search strategies. If you are searching for something, whether you are able to identify the important component within a few seconds so that you focus there and then you deliver in the best possible way. So eye-hand coordination can be improved using eye tracker. A typical eye tracker looks like this. It is like you are wearing specs, and then there is a lens here which is tracking all the movements. Nowadays we even have a hands-free kind of this one which is available, eye tracker. So there is no wires which are attached. So you can have a telemetry kind of a eye tracker which is available. So we can understand the relevance of your tracking and what exactly is your eye seeing and how much of information, the relevant information is being processed.
Ma'am, if you can just click on slideshow, ma'am. I think it will start the slideshow. Yeah, just if you can click slideshow, if you can.
Now you can see?
Okay, I think so. Ma'am, can you go to the next slide? Is on top, if you can just click on slideshow.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Can you see it now? No.
No, actually it is only the slide which is visible.
I don't know, because I have shared the particular presentation.
Okay. I think it is on when you present your whole screen, then you can do the slideshow.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I have seen. Now I'm doing slideshow. I can see it on the whole screen. Can you see it?
No, it's not visible here.
Next one you can't see.
No. Then you can.
I will stick to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other technology, because we are in the 21st century, moving towards the 22nd century, and it is all, technology based. So we will have to keep pace with the latest technological advances which are coming in the way. And sports is not, it's going to be devoid of this particular, development. So there is a wearable technology devices which are available. What you can see here is, the EEG cap. So you just have to wear that cap and it measures your brain activity. And all of us have this wrist watch these days. So activity watches, they are tracking every movement of ours, starting from your heart rate to the sleep patterns. Everything is being, recorded here. So you can maintain and have an understanding of how, what is your heart rate, what is your skin temperature, how much of steps have you taken, and how much of energy is consumed. So every little information about the body is made available to us, and clip-on devices to measure the breathing frequency, because breathing frequency becomes very important in sports like archery, shooting. So we need to understand the rate of respiration. If you're breathing, and then they generally say when you have to release your arrow, you have to hold your breath and then release. Even the slightest of the movement of your body will have an influence on the way your arrow hits the bull's eye. Right? So monitoring and understanding and being aware of your breath pattern is these days is being done by using these technologies. They are all very small devices which nobody even can feel that they are being put on them. Yeah. So you can use them, and the athlete himself will understand how to make sense out of whatever he is seeing in using these particular equipments. So just to briefly say, in the mental training procedures that I generally use for relaxation, I'm using progressive relaxation. I teach them autogenic training. We are using transcendental meditation. We are using biofeedback. And I don't use hypnosis because I'm not trained in that. It is one of the techniques which has been used, and it is gaining importance in sports because, there have been a lot of instances where there have been some kind of a frustration, some kind of, experiences, childhood experiences, which have not been very pleasant to the athlete. And at a later stage, when they come and interfere with his, development, personality clashes. So that time hypnosis has been, found to be helpful. But we need to take the help of a professional trained hypnotist if we have to use this particular methodology for our athletes. And when we are using, biofeedback, we use mostly pulse. We are using breathing frequency. We are using GSR, that is the galvanic skin resistance, and we are using, pulse. So all of these become easier for an athlete to understand that with stress, these values increase, so I have to work on keeping them at a particular balanced value level so that my stress doesn't affect the performance. So biofeedback sessions, we are doing a lot of these biofeedback sessions with the visualization or the imagery sessions that we generally do. And psyching of strategies, most of these are done in consultation with the coaches and the athletes together, and the other support staff also, we involve them. The most important being goal setting, pep talks, the bulletin boards, which you can post some important messages for them, publicity and news coverage, how they can help make or break an individual. I am very specific on this because most of the times some kind of a news which can be very harmful for the athlete, and so we have to be very careful the way he is exposed to the publicity. The fan support, which has immense importance when an athlete or our team is performing elsewhere. Even home crowd also matters a lot. And then self-activation is something which can help an athlete when he is actually performing on the field, because there he may not get a psychologist, or his coach may not be available, his teammate may not understand what exactly is happening. So he needs to use these self-activation techniques while playing at the time of critical moments. Coach, athlete and parent interaction back during the training sessions has an important role to shape up the way the athletes performance shapes up. And pre-competition workout, we also call it as routines are very important. The way that it gives you an understanding of how ready you are for performing, and then accordingly you can psych yourself up. You can relax if you're getting overboard. So a pre-competition workout which is already rehearsed well before even your competition is essential and can help you during your competition sessions. So the focus areas in the COVID times, as I told you, has been overwhelmingly mental health. Rest all other components which otherwise help in performance enhancement has not been given importance at all by athletes themselves. So they have been raising a lot of issues relating to mental health and their concerns, their worries. So we have focused a lot on these components by giving them, handouts, by giving them a lot of video sessions, a lot of, telephonic conversations, and giving them writing them emails. So we have used technology in a very effective manner during COVID to deal with the mental health issues. But otherwise, the routine performance enhancement strategies have been like to work on your mental toughness, how to handle anxiety, personality, variables, variations, how they influence different sports, how motivation is the main component for, remaining in the sport, getting out of sport. So everything depends on motivation. Arousal regulation, as I told you, the self-awareness is very important. You have to regulate your arousal levels at the time when it is needed by using many of the techniques. Either you relax yourself, you can use your breath control, you can use biofeedback strategies, simple things what can help you make your arousal well within the zone where you have to maintain yourself. Goal setting, we have seen, is another psyching strategy, and it is also a motivational strategy which helps an athlete understand what should be done, when should be done, how it should be done. So imagery, all of the athletes and the support staff understand imagery importance, and stress management. There is a lot of stress from many angles, so we have to be aware of the various strategies that are available for managing our stress. Stress is bound to be there. Stress will be there, but how we regulate it is well within the hands of the purview of the athlete and the psychologist who can teach them how to understand, recognize, and handle the particular situation to come out of that. Just to make all of you aware, I'm sure those who are interested in sports psychology would be browsing through and wanting to know how professionally you can gear yourself up to become a sports psychologist. These are all the initiatives of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Like very rightly sir said, Central University of Rajasthan was given its due recognition and made into a center of excellence where many other courses were introduced, sports psychology being one of them. GNDU, I have been associated with the department from the beginning. So they have a very good department of sports psychology with the latest equipments that I have already told you. Many of them are there with them. LNIP Gwalior has MA Sports Psychology, and many physical education departments like National Sports University Imphal has MPEd and MSc Sports Psychology. And Srihar Chennai has started courses in sports psychology, sports and exercise psychology, they say it. So there has come a time from the times when we made a entry into sports psychology. There was no organized course in the departments. Applied sports psychology or clinical sports psychology. Clinical psychology was the base from where we started working. So now it is very focused kind of a training, both educationally, the academic qualifications are being provided to the students so that they are being groomed in the particular specific area. So all of these initiatives in the current scenario are proving to be a boon to the students who want to pursue sports psychology so that they have a proper base from which they can, further move ahead. And there are many training centers like Abhinav Bindra Targeting Performance Center, where he has established a sports science center. Strength and conditioning is his main forte. But other than that, they are also having, sports science departments. Padukone Dravid Center for Sports Excellence, they also have a very good setup within their, center. The Gopichand Academy has very specific equipments which are, geared for training their players. And many states now have also come up with their own sports academies where they are trying to develop sports science facilities. It is not only Sports Authority of India. To begin with, it was Sports Authority of India, but now because sports is again a state matter, so states are also showing interest in developing sports academies and sports science centers because they are having a lot of talent which is training there. So they also understand the importance of sports science, and they are developing good facilities by way of even getting a good amount of manpower. So a beginning has already been made, and I think we are moving in a positive direction in developing sports science and sports psychology in specific. If I have to say, it has been quite promising. The past 5 years, what I have seen, there has been a lot of interest in athletes and even students who would want to, be practically trained in sports psychology. The athletes themselves who are doing psychology courses, they were very interested in getting to know how sports psychology is important and what can be done to gain knowledge in sports psychology. Then a very important, it is something like quality control, which is very essential in every field. Sports psychology also needs to have accreditation and certification, which has been put in place by ISSP, which is the International Sports Psychology Association. So they have come up with the ISSP registry where they have emerging practitioners and they have approved supervisors. So these two categories, they are giving accreditation to people who have certain number of years of experience, and it is very clearly outlined. So that is why I have given you the website. If you go to the website, then they will give you the details of how you should apply, how you should go ahead, and what are all the things that is required for a person to get, this certification. Coming to India, in Sports Psychology Association of India, which I am a Secretary General, so we have also come up with the, accreditation framework. We are working on it. We have almost finalized it. Because of COVID, we could not carry it forward. The meetings have been all finalized. We are just trying to find out professional or the, academic body which will run these particular kind of courses, and where people can enroll themselves, and they have to be evaluated. So we are just in the process of finalizing it. So India will also have its own, set of people, because now what is happening is that there are many people who do some online courses just for a month, 2 months, and they claim themselves to be sports psychologists. And there is no harm. I'm not against it. But then if there is a quality of, that we have to deliver to the athlete, because ultimately it is the athlete whom we are, catering to. If we are not able to give him kind of a professional support which is required for realizing his potential, we are doing harm. So we have to establish some standard for which this accreditation and certification is a must. So every one of us should be accredited, and we must be certified, so that we are providing kind of a quality, kind of a support to our athletes, so that they benefit from the psychological inputs that they are receiving. So this is my conclusion. We have come to the finish of today's session. So all of you understand the importance of mind. Mind plays a pivotal role in everything that we do. It controls most of our, decisions, the emotions, the mostly affective, effective, everything, So mind is something which has to be looked into, which has to be cared into, and which has to be nurtured. We have to nurture our mind so that we are in the right spirit, doing the right thing at the right moment to get the right results. Thank you so much for your patient listening.
Thank you
So
so
if you
much.
have, yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think that was a very, very interesting, intriguing, kind of presentation on the recent advances, and the way you have highlighted equipments that are that's a knowledge source for, I think, everybody who's listening. I'm sure being an athlete, being a student, if we come to know about equipments, that is something, our eyes brighten up, because that's a way forward for science. So thank you so much, because there's a very huge role that sometimes, testing and assessment does play, along with how you balanced it so well with therapy and a lot of other areas. I think that's very nice, ma'am. And I would request, because we have some time, thanks to ma'am. So if anybody wants to unmute and ask a question, please go ahead. If you want to unmute and ask a question, please go ahead. Otherwise, I will be picking up the questions from the chat also.
Namaste.
Hanji, namaste, sir.
I am Nagendra Kishore Sunkara. Madam, I met you attended the workshop, Psychon workshop, madam, where we are taking photographs. And I am Nagendra Kishore Sunkara. I am a national table tennis player, ex-table tennis player. And I am running a sports and games research and development center in the name of my father, with a mission to inculcate sports and physical activity culture among children and youth. As madam, your presentation is exemplary, madam. And
thank you so much. Thank you.
And our country, as I was telling you, and you are encouraging me. I still remember you, Jayashree madam, and other madams who are encouraging me during my Psychon and other visits. And what I was we were insisting upon is mass human sports resource development is needed for the country. Because the people are still feeling that going to the sports activity may hamper the studies of the children and youth. So we may have to, as a sports psychologist, as you rightly said, that we require not only the physical strength to go in, but also psychological interventions to utilize the physical activity, madam.
So actually, that's why what I told you was,
Yes,
sports is a state matter. So
Yes, ma'am.
states will have to, like, Rajasthan has come up with, developing university into a national excellence. So each state, if they take up, this matter into their priority, the sports culture definitely will develop. The sports culture will develop.
Yeah, what if I'm a president of Alumni Sports this Psychology Alumni Association of Adikavi Anna University, madam. We would like to have a MOU with Sports Authority of India as well with Rajasthan also, right? Straight
So
away.
that you will have to write to the ministry.
Yeah. Sir.
Ministry, not to you directly. Okay.
No,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thank you so much, sir.
State this thing. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Very much.
Thank you. I'm sure you can take it forward from here. I request anybody who has any question, you put it on the chat. If somebody wants to ask, you can ask in about now time. Otherwise, I will be putting the questions across to ma'am. Anybody who would like to ask in person?
Ma'am, I am Anamika from Kerala.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Anamika.
Okay. How can we join SPA after completing Amphillin in clinical psychology?
We have on our website, the Sports Psychology Association of India website, there is a form which is available. You can download that and fill it up and send it to, the address is also given there. You just post it, and then with a particular DD, the amount is 2,500. So you just have to draw a DD for that and then send it. And then in the next meeting when we have, because of COVID, we have not been meeting, for the past 2 years, everything has been pending. So I would not assure that it may be done very immediately, but it will definitely be taken up, and we will issue the membership to you. You can do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anamika. There's somebody else also. Yeah, please go ahead.
Navneet.
Navneet Bhargavi.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah, please.
EYBA psychology student. So, I'm on the verge of selecting, where exactly, in which field I should complete my master's. I want to do it in sports psychology, but, we don't have an idea of, what would be the job opportunities for sports psychology. So, will you please, give some guidance about that?
See, first of all, what I would say is you should pursue your passion. The opportunities will come your way. When I took sports psychology, I didn't even know that Sports Authority of India was existing. I didn't even know that I would land up a job here. So it was just because of, my interest in the field, because I was not interested in clinical psychology. Though I specialized those days, as I told you, there was very limited options. So I specialized in clinical psychology, but that was not my cup of tea, because I could not see people suffering and the mental illness. I used to be very, depressed and affected every time I went to the mental hospital and came back. And that was the time when, applied psychology field was still not into it, but then Bangalore University had this particular, MPhil program, which gave me a specialization in sports psychology. And that is how I went ahead with it. I didn't even think about a job. I enjoyed what I did, and I landed up with a job which I enjoyed. So opportunities are there. Don't be afraid to venture, because I know present day generation, you have a lot of challenges, but then the opportunities will definitely come your way if you specialize, and if you have the expertise. There will be people wanting to hire you, and there will be people definitely wanting to use your services. So go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, just a matter of information. I also would like to add that the job is not a question at all, because once you chase your dream, the jobs comes on its way. And so don't worry about the jobs, and there are many jobs. You just don't work only in the sports field, but there are sports psychologists also being engaged by the software companies to encourage their abilities, performance, because they are under highly stressed. And sports psychologist knows how they would be able to distress themselves, enhance their performance. So it is extension of the sports psychology in other field is also happening. show only this is called as the hottest career in psychology as per the American Psychological Association. And definitely you can choose Central University of Rajasthan, and I feel we are the lowest charging university as we are funded by ministry. It is somewhere like only 25,000 is our academic fee. So that way we are the lowest charging university with hostel facilities for girls, boys, everything. So you can choose and we will welcome you. So thank you. Yes, Gunit ma'am, please go ahead with
Thank you, sir. I think you've given an opportunity, perspective, everything. Thank you, sir and ma'am. That was very nice. Yeah, there are two more people. Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am. Nivedita ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon and good evening to everybody here. I am Nivedita, Rajan and Anuradha Solanki ma'am. So delighted to know that you are from Bangalore University, because I am also a product of Bangalore University. And I also did my Amphillin in sports psychology with Dr. Mohan Kumar as my guide. And I am also like a former international basketball player. I'm a practicing sports psychologist, and I also teach in college where they are offering sports psychology. So
I think I know you, Nivedita. You are a basketball player?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you.
Okay. So what I would like to share, the recent trend that what I have been seeing in the past couple of years regarding, sports psychology is lots of students are going to the UK, studying in Brunel University and doing their, I think it's a 1-year master's program and having the BIS certification. I think they come back here and they're practicing. I think some of my students, I used to work a lot with Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy with their students, and then some of the badminton players have gone abroad, and now I think they've started a center in Pune and Bombay. So I'm seeing this trend now in what's happening with all the people. So just wanted to share. I hope we are able to provide the same kind of quality MSc programs here in India.
Yeah. I think it will definitely take up with the initiative of Central University pitching in. I think they can set a standard which will become a mark like GNDU, CU, Rajasthan. They are all established universities, and if they can establish the department with the student force which are joining in, I think we are going to have a very good academic setup now. It is the beginning is made.
Right. Yeah. Could you please share your email ID so we could be in touch, Dr. Anuradha?
Sure. I will. Yeah.
Yeah, our Dean Sir, Professor DC Sharma is heading the Dean Academics position, so he can tell us that how we are trying to maintain our standard and improve our standard. Sir, if you would like to throw a bit.
See, within, say, 10 years, from starting with a scratch, now we are a leading university in almost every field. Particularly in the field of science, we have a name in research and developmental activities. We have lot of patents. We have lot of publications, international, national level publications. We have even patents from US. So this is something which is remarkable on the academic part of it. But as far as sports is concerned, I'm talking about the physical activities. We have lot of facilities here in the campus, and we have to nurture all those talents which we are coming up from all over India to make them aware of the things. Your lecture was wonderful information about the things of sports, and particularly about the equipments which you have mentioned. I could see first time some of the equipments which you were talking about. They are also creating activity abilities in the sports or athletes and sportsmen.
Yes.
So this is something which is to be made aware to our students, so that they can equip themselves and make their standards up to that level. And talent is not less in country. Talent is not a problem in India and the particular area in which we are also residing. So everywhere talent is there. The only thing which we have to see the direction to them. we have to take them to a particular direction and can fit them into that particular label. And they should understand what are the facilities, type of facilities we have in India as well. So that is to be made aware, and that this department, I hope, will definitely come up with those ideas, and will the way they are attempting, they will definitely make them aware, and some results will definitely be shown by this department and our university in coming future. This is what I can hope for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Gahan sir can tell us what kind of lab we are developing. He is the person who is heading the School of Sports Science, so he can definitely give a light on that. Gahan sir, can you please?
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So Risama sir has also told that we are having very good facilities regarding research, teaching, and we are very strict with many things regarding education and everything. But coming to School of Sports Science, we have a center facility for sports biochemistry, sports physiology, sports nutrition with almost 1 crore equipments we purchased. It has hematology analyzer, body composition analyzer, EMG, NCB, and we have also RT-PCR, PCR, and I think semi-automatic biochemistry analyzer. And we are on the purchase and procurement of our one purchase got stopped last year, which was a ergometer treadmill with bicycle ergometer. That was something of 45 lakhs. And we are under process of, but last COVID we are trying purchasing, and we have first batch we had 7 students, next batch we had 10 students, now we have 26 students. So we are improving. And so sports psychology, we started last year with 5 students, but earlier we had always 1 or 2 students, so we could not continue them. Biomechanics, we had some students pass out. We are trying our best to the level how much we can equip, and we have also proposing what madam was telling about the biofeedback. We have proposed 1.3 crore, but last year we didn't get the budget. We are also going to have the standard well-equipped biomechanics lab and sports psychology lab also. That is under a process. So once the ministry clears the funds, we will be starting purchasing of all this. And we have 2 regular faculty for sports psychology, like Dr. Guneet and Dr. Neetu. They are well equipped in sports psychology. And with the guidance of Suhasi Vadra sir, the head of department, they are doing excellent. So that is what I tell. It's almost 3.5 years gone now, and we are slowly improving, and we expect we will increase the seats also this year to 30 with the direction and the suggestion of our Professor Sharma sir. We have improved the seats, so that what happens is when we are having more seats, then we have more chances for giving students more. And our 4 students got Sai appointed recently, one in Gujarat and one in Bhopal, with a good salary of 90,000, 60,000 salary, just to pass out. And recently 2 students were completed. They have also got in some another NGO program, and one with some software program nutritionist. So our students are getting jobs in different places immediately after passing out also. So, and we have started PhD program with 12 seats this year. In sports bioscience we have 10, and sports psychology we have 2. And we are planning to start more, but our eligibility for PhD guide also is we are not that liberal. So we only maintain the quality and standards, so that has to be taken care of. And we need all your help, support, and blessings also to go ahead, so that people like you can help us to make the center of excellence for sports psychology or sports biomechanics or sports sciences.
I think we should, through Professor Bhadra and Madam Gunmeet, we should request you to physically visit our university as and when you find an opportunity. After this COVID or something, things becomes normalized, then we would definitely request through these people, please visit our university and guide us in the field of sports science and sports psychology and sports biomechanics, physiology, nutrition. There are a number of courses which we are running up, and we have very, very talented faculty, young and vibrant faculty. But the only thing is we have to have a proper direction in which we have to lead. So that is what is required from you people to guide us in this particular area, and definitely our faculty and our student will excel. And we will definitely not let you down about these things. So this is what our commitment is. So
sure, sir. I'm there. I have come into the loop. I'm going to remain there.
And to add on, we have a boxing ring recently installed, international level boxing ring with 5 lakhs procurement. We have installed it. We have boxing coach, Dr. Sunilji Purohit, who is one committee member. He's a boxing coach from his appointed of Sai. He was already in Sai Patiala, in NIS Patiala.
He is a biochemist.
Yeah, biochemist. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a boxing coach as well. He is also he's assistant
He has
professor.
been my colleague. He's been my colleague.
Yeah, he's our colleague now. So
I know.
So in terms, you are also their colleague. So it's better to have coordination of this kind so that we can definitely improve upon.
Yes, sir.
100%, sir. 100%. I am always available.
That's great.
Thank you so much. I think thank you, sir. Thank you, coordinator, sir, dean, academics, registrar, sir, HOD, sir. I think one thing for sure that everybody needs is an enriching environment and state-of-the-art, facilities which are definitely here. So that is one of the things that has always kept us on our toes. The productivity which they seek and the excellence is already there. Although the center has to be established, but in the mind it is always inculcated. So that's very nice. We see it from our seniors. Thank you so much, everybody. And I've seen, ma'am, I think the whole chat is full of questions and full of comments. People are still sending in comments, and unfortunately, as this has a limited time frame, so I would now request the participants that we will be sharing ma'am's email ID. So if possible, if ma'am permits us, I'm sure these questions can be taken forward. Mostly on licensing, and I'm sure the students are curious to know about licensing and the way you have thrown the light. So again, like the inaugural session, the second session has been a brainstorming session, and that's been the purpose of this expert lecture series. And for a young developing sports psychology applied field, it's a great thing. I would now request, in order to end this, day 2 session, I would now like to invite Dr. Neetu PS, Assistant Professor, Department of Sports Psychology, for giving the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Registrar and Dean Academics, Professor D.C. Sharma, respected and most distinguished speaker, Dr. Anuradha,
Neetu, madam.
Voice is breaking.
I think there's some connectivity issue.
Yeah, there is some connectivity problem.
Yeah, so basically she's extending a hearty vote of thanks to everybody, especially to the speaker for today, Dr. Anuradha Solanki. I think, ma'am, that was very, very interesting. What you highlighted with respect to recent advances in sports psychology. We would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, because of whose motivation we have been able to take this forward. And our very own guest of honor today, Dr. D.C. Sharma. I think, sir, Registrar, sir, you have been really very kind in terms of encouraging us. Then our coordinator, sir, Dr. Chandrasekhar Gehan. I think he's been the person who has always pulled us out of our comfort zone and pushed us. And our HOD, sir, of course, being the leader in front, putting the standards higher, sir. I think thank you so much, and most importantly, we would like to thank the eager, pairs of ears who have listened to us and the eyes who have seen this, session. Our very own participants who have actually enrolled in large numbers, and thank you so much. And of course, the organizing committee and everybody involved. Dr. Neetu has been an integral part of the whole program. I would also like to thank her. So thank you so much, everybody.
Lastly, I think we should thank Dr. Janmajay Pandey.
Janmajay Pandey, yes.
Yeah.
So,
we should
Definitely.
He has been the and helping us a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. The feedback form is here, so I request all of you to fill it. And thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you. Yeah, and Mohan sir for being on.
Yeah, so we'll keep this association going further.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
for more benefit for the university as well as the department to develop to a better heights.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your kind gesture.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you
so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. I will be ending the meeting now, sir.
Please end.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.